Mm-hmm. Sure, no problem. I'll tell them. Hold on, guys. Just 1 second. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Just had to update my status about that one. Just got a call from the internet, and it told me to tell you guys to start using it. Do not be afraid of the technology that's there for you. This video is about education, technology, and especially within the context of the flipped classroom. Did you know that the entire internet, if you were to get the data that's in the internet and all the electrons inside all the bits from all the data points would fit on this strawberry, about 35 grams of matter? That is the weight of the internet as it is today in the 21st century. Wonderful. Consume some. I love it. Let's talk about consuming technology, but even worse, producing it. Let's make our own strawberry. Anyways, we live in a world that's technology. Think about it this way: the kids which are in the classroom right now are starting to learn, and they were born by the time there was already video games. Cell phones were mainstream. You have the internet was starting and perhaps already taking hold of the population. By the time they were able to read and write, the social media revolution was already in place. And now the internet is taking off into different directions, and that's the world that they're living in. They live in a world full of technology, and all of these gadgets is what they do, is what they live. We have to teach to kids in the way they live, in the way they understand, in the way they want to learn. And we have to start counteracting the typical disconnect that exists between the life they live outside the classroom and the school life, or the school life, the kind of teaching and learning that they do in the classroom. How are we asking them to relate to the material if the material is still being taught to them in ways which date back to hundreds of years ago? It is about time that we start to get on with the times. Teach to the new generation, all right, where all these gadgets are so common. And I wanted to tell you guys about the social media landscape right now. This is just a picture that by the time this picture was made, it was already inaccurate. But this gives you an idea of how many tools are out there for us to do things. And things like social networking, virtual worlds, social games, multiplayer games, massive multiplayer games, publishing to the websites, sharing on YouTube and Flickr, and so forth. I could go on and on. This is what we call Web 2.0. You see, before the internet, movies, TV, music, CDs, tapes, books, those were how media was distributed. And it was much more, it was fast because the publishing and technology was a lot faster, but that's so last century. If you think about it today, the world as it is right now marks what's perhaps the end of regular media. Movies, people don't go to the movies as much as they used to. They definitely don't watch TV the same way they used to. Now you have things like TiVo and instant in live streaming. Same thing with the movies with the Netflix. Music, nobody buys music anymore. Well, people still buy it, but a lot of people are streaming music for things like Pandora and iHeartRadio and things like that. Internet, people don't even use the internet anymore. You don't go to the website to get the data. You pick up your smartphone and you ask her a question and you say, what's the weather today like? And then it goes to the internet. It gives you the information right there. You don't really need to do anything, you know. There are things like RSS feeds, which instead of going to the websites come to you. Books, books are definitely not the way they used to be. Now we have things like virtual books or e-books, and now we have e-readers of all kinds. The Nook, the Kindle, the iPad, all things for us to read without paper. Everything that we used to know about media and technology is changing. The internet itself is changing. Now, instead of we being consumers of materials through these technologies, instead of us just being consumers, because the things I just described is about consuming information, we are our own media makers. We are making our movies. We have our TV channels. We make our music. We write our books, our blogs, or personal statuses, or picture timelines, or Facebook pages. We are producers of information. Even encyclopedias are no longer referred to the same way. We don't go to consume an encyclopedia. We make our own, called Wikipedias or wikis. That's Web 2.0. Web 2.0 is about the social media revolution, in which knowledge has stopped being about what we consume and it's becoming about what we create. We care less about what the TV people want us to watch and what the movie company wants us to watch, and we're starting to care more about what we want to put out there and watch each other. YouTube, Blogster, Facebook, these are just examples of ways in which the web is changing the way the media is thought of. The big media that we used to produce the information is being replaced slowly by us. The communal voice of the world changed this information. Who are we to tell our kids that they have to be consumers? We have to sit in front of the classroom and teach them everything they need to know, and they got no right to produce anything. No, that's not the direction the world is going. The world is no longer in a consumption mode. The world is in a production mode, where information is no longer only being consumed by people, but information production is even faster, which causes its problems in itself. Because if you think about it, how you know that information is reliable anymore, since there's so many people and anyone can put any information out there. But the voice of the masses is going to be heard. And information exchange and distribution is faster than ever before. And with Web 2.0 tools like the ones you see on the screen right now, and those we hear about all the time, Facebook, Linked, Twitter, Tweets, Socializer, Ustream, YouTube, Ucast, SlideShare, Last.fm, I can keep going with this. The tools of the web are changing the way life works. And this is the world your kids are now teenagers in and living in. And we have to change the way we teach if we don't want to stay behind. So it's about time that we stop thinking about the prohibition. Remember the prohibition and how that didn't work out? Because the things people really wanted, the government was not the one to give them. Who are we to stand in the classroom and say, you cannot use technology? You cannot use the things which are in your pockets and you use all the time. You should know what the consequence is. They are texting during class. They are texting during school. There are some schools that say it's forbidden for them to bring cell phones to class, and there it is. The cell phone's still in their pocket. It is the natural way of things. We are not going to counteract this wave. In fact, this is a wave we need to ride it because it's a good wave. Instead of starting to worry about how it's hurting us, let's start worrying about how it can help us. Instead of worrying about all the kids with these cell phones and the problems associated with it, because yes, there are a lot of problems, distractions, bullying, cyberbullying, sexting, texting to meet up in the bathroom and you're going to do all the things in the bathroom which are not appropriate, and all kinds of bad things that come from technology. There's also great things that kids are doing with technology, and depriving them of that culture is a problem. We're calling them criminals within the classroom for being who they are and for trying to be part of the 21st century world. Instead of prohibiting the technology, we have to embrace it. A lot of people do not want to do it because they are afraid of incorporating the technology in the classroom. They don't understand it. Maybe they don't know how to incorporate it. They don't have the education to do it. Or maybe they are scared of the practical applications of it. It's going to cost money. It's going to cost time. It's going to cost education and a lot of other things. Or maybe they're worried about the money aspect of it. But whatever the reason may be, it's about time that we start working against those reasons and start working with technology, because technology is going to change the classroom. And if you're not careful, you're not going to have a job soon. Because I think, in my opinion, in a few years, teachers, the way that we think of them as lecturers in front of the classroom, will be extinct. And if we don't evolve to become part of the technology wave and start incorporating technology in our classroom and transform your classrooms to active learning environments, which are part of this 21st century, we're not going to be able to exist in this society as educators. To educate people, we just don't need to teach them just the content, but also the skills they need to succeed in life. And I think part of becoming a technology geek is part of that. We have to model this culture of learning. A lot of teachers are scared of learning how to use technology in the classroom. But a teacher is a learner. I love that graph that shows learning and teaching the same word there as reflect about each other's. Because a good teacher is a lifelong learner. And if we want our students to be these learners, a lifelong learner, a lot of schools put that in their models and mission statements and things like that. They also put interact with the community. All these things are the things that technology is doing. Community interaction, learning for life. We cannot be scared of being learners. We have to model learning for our students. If we don't stop just telling them, no, I'm not going to incorporate technology because it's too hard, I can't learn how to use it, we're being just like them when they say it's too hard for them to understand our material. Don't give up on technology just because you don't understand it. Step out of your comfort zone. Teachers don't have to be right all the time. We don't have to be the source of the knowledge. We don't have to be the ones that know it all. We have to be guides that take them to the places where the knowledges are. We have to let them discover this knowledge. And by blocking the technology and the internet and the Web 2.0 revolution, we're blocking the access to the most powerful tool ever invented by the human race, which is cognitive thinking and information sharing at a completely different level. Globalization of knowledge, interactivity has gone beyond whatever has been dreamed of because of the technology revolution. Learn to use it and step out of your comfort zone, and we have to become teachers which incorporate the technology in the classroom. It is not it's okay not to be your best. It's okay to open the doors for kids to learn from other sources. It's okay to be out of your comfort zone and not knowing how to use this technology. But you have to be willing to do that, because believe me, you can still make an impact even as you are learning about how to do this, and even if you are not the only source of information. Teachers should never be the source anyways. It's better if the students discover the information for themselves and learn to look at a lot of sources. What if the teacher doesn't know everything? What if the textbook doesn't know everything? The information tech revolution has also made that possible. We no longer have to rely on what we know now. Now we can rely on what the world knows, because the world is at our fingertips because of the transformation of information exchange. Therefore, if we want to truly prepare our kids for the world that's ahead of them, we have to give them the tools and let them use it so that they can learn how to find information in this world, how to seep through the massive amount of stuff there and find what's important. We have to start integrating our classrooms with technology. Transforms our classrooms into classrooms that use computers, use cell phones, use texting even, use this communication, and allow our kids to feel like they're part of the 21st century. Help the students be part of that century, and also build the skills and use the tools that they will have to use in the 21st century. All right? Another thing that I would say about that is that we need to start educating our kids for the jobs of the future. The market is changing, and there's going to be jobs that we don't even exist right now. The other day, I was reading into job interviews, and I found a job that was pretty much about using Twitter and social networking to network for the company, for a marketing enterprise. That kind of job didn't even exist a couple years ago. And it's from here on. And jobs in the future are going to require more technology, more understanding of social networking and interactivity with the web, use of those Web 2.0 tools. And if we want to stay ahead, we need to incorporate those things into our education. Jobs that currently don't exist require critical thinking, inquiry, creativity, and technological applications. It includes their use of social networking and social skills that didn't even exist before. People need to know how to be great, both personally and digitally. America is falling behind the world. China already has more English-speaking people than the entire United States of America. And soon, it will be the leader in technology of the world. A lot of products are already produced in China, Japan, and all the places in Asia. And now they're starting to make their own technology as well. They're not just factories there. They're the leaders of engineers and the jobs of the future. We are not creating competitive people for the world in America. We have to change that. We are staying behind the competition. Look at this. America is 489th in science and 474th in math when it comes to education. Meanwhile, places like Finland, that used to suck a couple of years ago, a couple of decades ago, are now at the top. What have they done to education to change this? That is what we have to start asking. We need to start changing our paradigm and incorporate technology into the world of education. And we need to realize that education is actually cheap. A lot of these Web 2.0 tools are completely free. And back in the day, things like media players and CD players used to be very expensive. But now you have everything in one smartphone. Tablets, which are much more cheaper than buying textbooks from scratch. Technology has multiple uses, and it's not as expensive as you think, especially the tools, the Web 2.0 tools. So there is no excuse not to use technology. And in the next videos, I'm going to talk about how you can start doing that.